Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So, welcome to another market open stream. Today, we're going to talk about Bitcoin and crypto, of course, and talk about a move Bitcoin has never, ever seen before. And this is going to be significant. So, let's talk about it, and let's talk about everything else that's going on, including also more backlash on what Michael Saylor recently said that was very controversial about self-custody or lack of self-custody, therefore. So let's talk about it, and let's talk about everything else going on today. All right, let's do it. Welcome, guys. Bitcoin's a little bit lower than yesterday. Overall, the U.S. market is starting out a little bit lower, so that's not good. Well, that's not bad either. But I did notice that even though Bitcoin's down slightly, Solana is going up and Jupiter's going up. There is something going on in the Solana ecosystem, so that is pretty good today. But overall, let's see. The U.S. market opening up in the red. That's not good. But you know what? It did the last 2 days too. Last 2 days. So it would not surprise me, you know, if we flipped around. But I did notice something, a headline that I want to point out for you guys that's very important when it comes to inflation. And people don't realize this because it's a slow, gradual thing that people don't pay attention to. But look at this. Coca Cola tops earning estimates as higher prices offset sluggish demand. So this is what manufacturers and companies do, okay? They know demand is coming down. They know the only way they're going to offset that is by hiking up prices. And sometimes they do so not even due to inflation. They just do so because they want to make more money. Price gouging, right? But sometimes they have to do it because their price of goods go up too, like plastic go up or whatever, or the chemicals they buy go up. But this is what I'm talking about, slowly, right? 10 years ago, maybe a price for a bottle of Coke is like $1. Now it's $1.50 or $2. And you know, for most part, you're just like, whatever, you don't pay attention. But it's everything, it adds up. That's why inflation is a bad thing. It robs you of your purchasing power. You don't realize it, but everyone does it. That's why you need to invest. That's why you need to hold on assets that also go up in price due to inflation. Otherwise, if you're just holding on a whole bunch of cash, or you're not holding on a bunch of cash, you're just living paycheck to paycheck, you realize that what you can buy or purchase over time gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller because everyone is just jacking up their prices, right? I think that's, you know, it's very apparent with this headline. They're just jacking up their prices. That's it. That's all they're doing. Yeah. All right, so moving on from that point. Tesla is also reporting today, aftermarket, right? I don't really care about Tesla, but I do care about what they're going to do with Bitcoin. So Arkham, you know, been tracking all their wallets. And right now, they still hold 11,500 Bitcoin. So that's great. $777 million worth of Bitcoin held in a lot of different wallets spread around. Okay, I'm still waiting for them to say something. Elon usually does the calls. I'm waiting for him to say I'm going to, you know, follow Michael Saylor. He's probably not gonna say that, but like say something like, you know, we're gonna start buying more Bitcoin. That's why we start moving wallets. You know, moving Bitcoin to different wallets. I don't know why they start moving, but I'm really hoping that he does that. We'll see. We'll see if that happens. Otherwise, I don't even really know why he moved them, to be honest. There's really no good reason other than accounting or taxes. I don't know, something like that. But we will see. We'll see. And then also in the U.S., 10-year Treasury yield rises again, highest since June. That's usually not a good thing. That's usually a sign of fear in the markets. And right now there are still a lot of fear about the economy, inflation, debt, the new president. A lot of fear, uncertainty, the usual stuff. That's why things are going up. Yields going up, so forth, right? And Paul Tudor Jones yesterday just said that he thinks there's an impending doom coming because as a nation, we're going to go broke because we just keep spending and spending and borrowing and spending, and it's just a never-ending cycle. And at some point, our bond market may collapse because this is our way as a country to borrow money, to issue more bonds. And we entice other countries to buy our bonds with these high interest rates. What if others stop buying? Then we will be in trouble. Anyways, moving on. All right, so what is this move that Bitcoin has never, ever seen before in its 15-year history? Well, that is this golden cross that is about to happen. That's right. Actually, this is the wrong one, but okay, I'll still use this one. There is another chart that shows that we are forming a golden cross for the first time ever. I think that's on the weekly scale. This is not the right one, but I'll still use this. We are making a golden cross on the daily chart that we haven't made since 2023. And after we made that, obviously you could see we went up from sub 30,000 all the way to 69,000. That also started in October 2023, right? And we're about to make that golden cross once again in October of 2024. So that is a sign. First of all, we're in October. Second of all, history doesn't repeat, tends to rhyme. And third, that we are, on our way to our parabolic rise. But there was another chart. I was mistaken. There was another chart on the weekly that shows that, we are actually making a golden cross that we have never, ever made in Bitcoin's history. I got my charts messed up. Forgive me. But, you get my point, right? We are entering the parabolic bull run of this cycle. We just have to be a bit more patient, right? But we're definitely holding on the right assets. Most of you guys know that, right? The fundamentals support it, macro conditions are supporting it, and based on all the shenanigans I've been talking about with inflation, with government, with central banks, and distrust in them, you have to hold on something better like Bitcoin. At the very least, if you don't like Bitcoin, you got to hold on like gold. But Bitcoin is a pharmaceutical grade gold that is way better in every single way. So, of course, you hold on to Bitcoin, right? But in terms of fundamentals, I've been talking about that a lot. You may wonder, what does that mean other than the price? Well, for example, mining difficulty hits all-time high, which means the network is getting stronger, which means there are more miners out there across the world that's mining Bitcoin, supporting the network, making it more decentralized, and making it even more secure and more unhackable. That is part of the fundamentals, right? Same thing with wallets, the number of wallets, transaction volume, all of these things are skyrocketing. Bitcoin processes more transactions per year than MasterCard and Visa combined. Think about that. And it's decentralized. Okay, no one could stop a transaction between you and anyone else across the world. No one does even know about it. There's no middleman, no third party that has to approve it or can deny it. Unlike Visa or MasterCard or Swift or or ACH or anything, wire transfer, someone has to approve it and someone can deny it on Bitcoin's network. No one has to approve it. No one can stop it. That's the difference between centralization and decentralization. That is priceless. That is priceless. Okay, as for ETFs, unfortunately yesterday we broke the streak, a 2-week streak. And it's mostly due to ARK's fault because ARK had a massive $135 million outflow. BlackRock still took in $43 million. Larry Fink is still buying. Fidelity had a little inflow. ARK had a massive outflow for whatever reason. So that broke our streak, 79 million outflow. But overall, these ETFs are still taking in way more than it's putting out, right? So over time, this is going to have a huge effect on Bitcoin, huge effect on the price action. It's going to cause a huge supply shock, which I've been talking about. It has already. People don't realize it. We were ahead of the game for most of this year because of this. It did cause a supply shock. And it will continue as we move forward. And it could be a large contributing factor after 2025 because we may not have the same crypto winter moving forward because of the ETFs, because of how much Bitcoin the institutions hold. If they hold and they don't dump like traditional retail investors after 2025, we may not have the same 80% drops like before. So this can definitely be a game changer going forward. Now, at the beginning of the show, I talked about being robbed of your purchasing power, right? So this is a perfect example, a perfect chart that shows that. Since the beginning of time, not the beginning of time, since the beginning of the Fed in the US, the dollar has been going down and down and down, especially after the gold reserve was removed, okay, or gold standard. A lot of people still don't understand that. People still think the dollar's backed by gold. That's not. Dollar's backed by nothing. So whenever someone makes the argument, well, Bitcoin's backed by nothing, so is the dollar, right? Nothing's backed by nothing. Both are backed by nothing other than people that believe there's value in them. But here's what you can take to the bank is that the purchasing power of a dollar continues to go down every year because there's more of it being printed and it will never stop. That's the whole point of it. The Fed wants inflation. Set inflation is 2 to 3% every year. And we know that in many instances, the inflation rate is obviously higher than 2 to 3%, such as a few years ago when we had 10% inflation rate and we had 30% of all USD in total in history was printed within the last 3 years alone. So just think about that. That's crazy. So you don't have that problem with Bitcoin. That's why when you compare Bitcoin with dollars, Bitcoin will always go up infinitely versus the dollar because the dollar will infinitely continue to go to zero. That's just how it works. So bottom line is you're good. You're good. Just keep stacking sats, keep stacking Bitcoin, hold it long term. Try to ignore the short term price action, short term volatility. Just keep holding it and you're good. That's how you opt out of all the shenanigans that central banks and governments are doing, basically. That's all you have to do. All you have to do. All right. Now what else is there? Vitalik. Vitalik is joining in on a recent controversial interview that Michael Saylor conducted. A lot of people are chiming in on this, and I covered this a few days ago, but now it's like it seems to be like gaining more backlash. So I guess I'll play it for you guys. It is pretty damning, and it did seem like Michael Saylor did a complete 180, and it could be because now MicroStrategy is a darling of Wall Street under a lot of scrutiny, and he knows the SEC, CFTC, and every government agency is looking at him closely now, and he has big ambitions for MicroStrategy. Maybe that's it, or maybe like everything he said about Bitcoin at the beginning, he never believed in at all, and it was just a way for him to make a lot of money and bring exposure to MicroStrategy. I don't know, but Vitalik basically said that to sum up, Saylor's comments are batshit insane. He seems to be explicitly arguing for regulatory capture approach to protecting crypto. There's plenty of precedent for how the strategy can fail. And for me, it's not what crypto is about. And if you don't understand what's going on, or you didn't watch the interview, let's just watch it right now and you guys can understand. So basically, Saylor conducted this interview, and he was arguing how Bitcoiners should actually trust custodians like banks and others to custody Bitcoin rather than take a stand of self-custody. And it's just a complete 180 from what he has said from before. So let's take a listen. Let me get this ready. And then somehow he called all the Bitcoiners, Bitcoin maxis, anarchist. Okay, I can't say it now. You guys listen to it.
If there is more Bitcoins held with these third-party custodians, what risk does that pose, having greater supply held by fewer large institutions? Does that increase the risk of seizure and confiscation, like we've seen with gold? And is that not exactly what Bitcoiners don't want to happen?
No, I think it's the opposite. I think that when the Bitcoin is held by a bunch of crypto anarchists who aren't regulated entities, who don't acknowledge government or don't acknowledge taxes or don't acknowledge reporting requirements, that increases the risk of seizure. You have an OG crypto community that's very hardcore about it, but if you look at where all the money is, 99.9% of the money is actually in the traditional economy.
If you consider the Great Depression, I mean, people thought that their gold was safe in banks until the Executive Order of 1933. So we're not entirely safe. I mean, I know that's kind of a wild thing to suggest may happen again, but history does repeat itself. So yeah, people's Bitcoin wouldn't be entirely safe. It's
people say that, but mostly it's paranoid crypto anarchists that say that. Okay? Because it's a myth and a trope that goes on over and over again. But first of all, he didn't really seize the gold. People voluntarily turned in the gold. They didn't go and kick in everybody's door, arrest them, shoot them, and take their gold. That never happened. Is the United States on the Bitcoin standard?
Maybe we will be soon.
But the point really is we're not. Right? It's totally not a reasonable comparison. People have these inflammatory tropes or inflammatory memes that they use. And it's like, I say that because I want you to give me your money. Okay? Like, if you don't trust the bank, then you'll buy my hardware wallet. If you don't trust this government, you'll move to my country and you'll buy a passport from me. That's the kind of fear-mongering to get you to give me your money, right? And I use it to sell you a gun, to sell you a hardware wallet, to sell you an account, to sell you a financial advisor, to sell you an insurance policy, to sell you fill in the blank.
Okay, so basically, I don't know, that last part, he basically like threw to me, it almost seemed like he threw El Salvador under the bus, basically selling the fear. He threw all hardware wallet makers under the bus for selling the fear of confiscation. He made the argument, he argued against the gold confiscation, and I'm pretty sure he used that argument himself before, saying that the US government has confiscated gold from people, and now he countered that saying, well, that's just nonsense. You don't have to worry about that. I'm pretty sure he himself, if we dig hard enough, he has used that argument before himself, and now he's saying, that's nonsense, don't worry about that. And he's saying everyone is an anarchist that truly believes in self-custody, since 99.9% of the world's financial wealth is in large institutions. We should trust the banks and financial institutions. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think we all love Saylor, and we want to defend him, and we want to give him the benefit of the doubt. But like, this is a complete 180 from even the stuff that he was saying from 2020 till now. This is like a real big shift in his sentiment, and total big shift from all the maxis, obviously, and the maxis that have been supporting him for a long time. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how you guys decide. You guys tell me if he's right or wrong, but like, this is complete. You know, like he was the one that was famous for doing that one interview early on and saying, you know what, you put all your Bitcoin on a ledger, and if they come after you and they want to tax you, just say you get in a boating accident, F you, you're not going to take my Bitcoin, you're not going to tax me, right? He was the one that said that early on. And now he's talking about, oh, how Bitcoin anarchists don't want to pay taxes and stuff. So I don't know what happened there. Anyways, let's move on from that. All right, Bitcoin key levels here. So we're above the 200-day moving average. So that is very good. We got a lot of these metrics that show that Bitcoin is still moving on in the right direction. Here's a bull flag that we have broken out of, that show that we are mimicking a previous cycle in 2020. So we follow it. We're going to end the year and next year in a really, really good spot, really high spot. So that's good. Here's another one showing that we're following a previous cycle from 2017. That looks very, very similar. Double bottoms, sideways movement, and then boom. Blast off again to a very high 2017. That's not, by the way, people are saying that's AI. It's not AI. That's an actual interview. That was not AI. And then here. Lastly, I'll show you this for a Bitcoin cycle. Last few cycles, we saw 9,000, 3,000, couple of 600, 700% gains. And we are here. We haven't seen it yet. It will be coming. That's right. That is right. All right. What else is there? Sui. A lot of people have been asking about Sui after their rise. Sui partners Google Cloud to power real-time blockchain applications. That's great. Injective. Transactions on the rise. That's usually good. Injective out of Cosmos. Although Cosmos just came out with a pretty damning thing here. We know that a lot of the hacks in crypto allegedly were done by North Koreans. And supposedly the liquid staking aspect of Cosmos has now been found to be developed by these North Korean hackers. So now they're going to remove their liquid staking module because somehow the team didn't know that the Lazarus North Korean team supposedly built it. Yeah. And they're the ones responsible for the 600 million Ronin bridge hack. So now Cosmos is going to remove the liquid staking aspect. I don't know how they wouldn't know who contributed that code. I really don't. But supposedly the FBI is involved, and now they're realizing that they did, and they're going to remove it. And I don't know what that means for the rest of the code. Probably not. Again, I don't know how they contribute or why they contributed. If this was like a backdoor somehow, right? So that a lot of people, would stake, and then eventually the hackers would just would steal all the staked atom or whatever. Maybe that's the ultimate plan, and they just didn't execute it yet or something. I don't actually know. All right. That is pretty much it. Let's see. The market is still kind of weak today. Well, look at MicroStrategy's up despite the interview. They are still up today. Coinbase barely red. Nvidia's a little red today, and Bitcoin is coming back up, which is good. And like I said, Jupiter and Solana are both doing quite well. Look at Jupiter. I have no idea why Jupiter is flying right now. Up 6%. Solana is also up, climbing back to 170. And then you also have like WIF up today, even though they're still down from their top. But Solana is doing pretty well today. All right, let's do some Q&A. Perry says, I saw an Ash Crypto X account. 30 billion in shorts will be liquidated around 72K. That makes a lot of sense. I'm figuring that'll be the last stance or last stand for shorters before we hit all-time high, right? That makes a lot of sense. Jay Jan, thanks for keeping up with the great work. You're welcome. Thank you for your support. Options expire today. Do you think we'll go to 60K? No, I don't. Options actually, the big options expiration is Friday. So I think this week's volatility now is really due to Friday's expiration, but a lot of long liquidations this week also. I think that was also the point too. Despite what Michael Saylor said, would you be taking all your stocks on MicroStrategy? You know what? That's an interesting question. I don't know. I don't know, man. MicroStrategy stock is still doing very well, making a lot of people money, but his comments are just like, basically, like everything, all the rhetoric he's been saying over the years, basically, he never believed in them at all, and he was just saying it for the sake of saying it because he knows that Bitcoin people like to hear it, or he's been pressured to say them now because he realized he needs to say them to make people believe in MicroStrategy. So I don't know which is which. I don't know. I do know my friend who has been in stocks for a long time, and even in the .com bubble, he did say not so good things about Michael Saylor in the .com bubble. He said he drove MicroStrategy to the ground in the .com bubble. That's why MicroStrategy stock has been so dead for so long until he adopted a Bitcoin strategy, and now he seems like a genius again. I never really paid attention to it. I never really looked up, his what he was doing prior in like the 2000 era. I don't know. I really don't know. At this point, I think we all love to give him the benefit of the doubt, but over the years he had said some bad things, right? Like at one point in time, he told everyone at peak in 2021, he told everyone to take a mortgage, take a second mortgage, and go buy more Bitcoin with it. And he told people to do that at peak, and that was not good advice. You should never tell people to go mortgage their house to go buy more Bitcoin. What do you think about the recent developments in BRICS and BRICS Pay? I don't know anything about BRICS Pay, but I know BRICS been trying to get off the USD standard for a long time. The reason why BRICS exists because they don't like US and they want to get off the USD standard. That's pretty obvious. And I think they're going to embrace crypto because of it. Any word on what Elon did with his BTC? Right now, nothing. All the moves, they still own it. They didn't sell anything off. But really wondering what he's going to say, if anything, tonight during the quarterly call. Hopefully, he says he's going to buy more Bitcoin. The fat kernel. What would be a conservative price target for Solana at the end of the bull run? Conservative? All right, let's just say very conservative. $800. That's a conservative price target. Chris says, Saylor comment drawing a lot of short sellers. The OI is high for puts. Did it really? I don't know if that had anything to do with short sellers. Yeah, remember, a lot of people forget. I mean, people, Elon does some stupid stuff too. At one point in time, I called Elon because I got so pissed off. I think it was 2021. Even though Tesla holds $776 million worth of Bitcoin, that's only 1/4. They had 4 times as much before, and he sold off a ton because of the ESG thing. He's like, Bitcoin mining is running off of, dirty energy, coal plants, and all this stuff. And it was basically because like BlackRock is like basically BlackRock forced them to do it at the time because BlackRock was on a big, ESG. Is it ESG? I think it's ESG like movement or whatever. Maybe BlackRock is making Saylor do the same thing right now. BlackRock is like the biggest shareholder of MicroStrategy. And BlackRock is one of the biggest shareholders of Tesla too. This all could be BlackRock. BlackRock is now one of the biggest holders of Bitcoin. So, it could all be part of Larry Fink's agenda here. Larry Fink, I told you guys, I use him as an example. Like right now, yes, he's buying a whole bunch of Bitcoin, which is great short term. Long term, it's not so good that he's going to hold such a large portion of the supply. You don't know what he's planning. Dirk is asking, don't you think BlackRock is manipulating the BTC price? I don't know if they are. They could be. I mean, who knows? Like right now, all the ETF stuff they can't touch because obviously that's owned by institutions. But a lot of their other funds also hold their own IBIT, so maybe they could do something with that. Who knows if they actually hold physical Bitcoin in their other wallets that no one knows about. Larry Fink himself could hold an enormous amount of Bitcoin on exchanges that we don't know about. I mean, there's definitely possibilities. Who knows? Maybe he's a large shareholder, or BlackRock is large shareholders of a lot of exchanges that we don't know about, right? I've always said like all these like extreme movements to wipe out the longs and shorts. Who does it benefit? The exchanges. Maybe BlackRock or whoever are large shareholders into these exchanges. Like who knows? Especially the foreign ones. So you don't have information on them. Who knows? I don't know. We could speculate, but yeah. Government should regulate how much one entity could hold. Nah. See, that's going down a slippery slope, right? You can't have it on one way where you don't want big government to intervene in Bitcoin and not control it, and on the other hand, you want big government to control how much an entity can hold of Bitcoin. You can't have it both ways. Man, we got almost 5,000 people in here today. Really good turnout. Don't be so negative. BlackRock definitely cares about. Yeah, no. BlackRock does not exist to care about our feelings. They exist for world domination and for profits. Jamie asks, would you rather have burritos or tacos? Burritos because they're less messy. What do you think about Arkham starting their own exchange? I could care less. Are you the one that keeps like trying to like spam that? Who cares? Who cares if Arkham starts their own exchange? Why is Polygon continuing to surge while others remain flat? I don't know about that, man. Polygon has been one of the weakest projects, weakest L1, L2s of this year. So I don't know if that statement is true. Where is Polygon? What are you talking about? It's all red. I wish Polygon would do better, actually. But they have no momentum. Hi again. Could you explain why big institutions would want to suppress Bitcoin's price? Wouldn't they make more money if the price kept going? Not really. For example, ETFs. Okay. Let's take a step back. Why would, for example, the ETFs not want the price to go up or down? Well, just look at up here. Fees. Why do ETFs exist? Because these issuers, they have fees. It doesn't matter if the price stays the same or up or down. Well, I mean, technically they do want price movement because then people buy or sell. But ultimately, they would want to, they would want the price to go up and then down and up and down and up and down, because they're going to make the fees, right? So it doesn't really matter if the price just keeps going up forever, like what we want, right? As long as there's price action and movement, they collect their fees. That's all they care about. And if you think about, like, let's say individually, like BlackRock, right? If Larry Fink really wants to, say, accumulate for themselves, well, even they have only so much money that they could spend per quarter. So why would they want the asset to continue to go up when they could buy more if it's lower, right? So obviously, if they can suppress the price, they will, so they can buy more. So there's that too. I'm sure there's many other reasons that I can't even think about, but those are two. Well, this is no good. September home sales dropped to the lowest level since 2010. The economy is definitely slowing down. Tesla is now offering 0% APR for 72 months on their cars. It's not them, it's like everyone. Car manufacturers are offering 0% or 1% APR across the board. Now you're seeing home sales drop to the lowest level in 14 years. The economy is definitely slowing down in a big way. So we need Daddy Powell to cut rates and cut rates fast to kind of get the money flowing. Ooh, MicroStrategy was way in the green, now turned red. Jerry, CryptosRUs, awesome. I appreciate that. I already swapped my Polygon for Bitcoin. Good for you. I say that's a pretty good move. Are you excited for Tesla earnings? Not really. The only thing I'm excited about is if Elon says he's going to start buying more Bitcoin and maybe opening up Bitcoin payments again for Teslas. That would be great. He like totally forgot about that. He said he was going to do that again, and he just like stopped. He needs to embrace Bitcoin again. That's what he needs to do. How do you feel like base flipping BSC in volume? It makes sense. Base is supported by Coinbase. It's ETH based. Makes sense. I don't hear too much about Binance Smart Chain these days. Everything has moved to either Sol or Base. So Binance Smart Chain, I don't hear a lot about memes doing well. I don't hear about projects going Binance Smart Chain. Like really it's just for USDT transfers, but even then people just use like Tron now for that. I don't really see a whole lot going on Binance Smart Chain these days. Ryan, you don't have to ask why it's surging. It is surging because it is. I'll leave this one up. What do you think about Doge? Do I still hold it? No, I don't. I don't think anything of it. I think it's going to not do as well as last cycle because there are way too many memes this cycle. I'm super bullish on Tesla Optimus. 10,000% sure people are going to put sectoids on Optimus. Yes, eventually. There's already a movie about that. I keep seeing it. Megan Fox was the actor in it, or actress in it. If one day Optimus robots look like humans, looks like Megan Fox, yes, it's going to be like that. But until then, no, it's not. Optimus right now looks pretty stupid. Like you wouldn't want a robot to do those things because it takes 10 times as long to ask the robot to do those things. But maybe in the future, maybe in a warehouse or something, right? Like you want a robot to walk like 1,000,000 steps to grab something and come back, but there's like better robots that's suited for that. Jamie, thank you. I didn't lose a ton, just a little bit. I'm still losing though. So, yeah, I'm on my way to lose more weight, but in that interview, I'm still pretty damn big. I need to lose a lot more, but thank you. All right, guys. I think let's call it a day. You know, tonight is DCA day. That'll be exciting. DCA day is always exciting. So yeah, today, you know, starting out, the U.S. market isn't doing that hot, so. But you know what? This headline kind of sums up what we're going through right now. Higher prices offset sluggish demand. Consumers are spending less. Companies are charging higher prices. And that's no good. That's why you want to opt out. You want to hold on assets that can't be manipulated, that can't be inflated, that can't be fudged, I guess. I don't know. I lost my point. Just stick with Bitcoin, guys. I'll see you guys tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we'll do DCA, and it's going to be good. Good as always. Have a good one, guys. Smash up the like, subscribe to the channel. Take care. Bye-bye.